Hey everybody, this is Corey with Stafford CDC, and today we're taking a look at the Bestech Knives Glok. This is Glok, no C in this one, not branded, not the firearm brand, not these guys. So, different thing. But that being said, when I first saw this knife, before I even knew the name of it, I thought to myself, that looks like a knife that used to be made under the Glock name. And I don't know if I'll be able to pull a picture up or anything. If I remember, I will. If I don't, then you can just look it up. There's a fixed blade with a similar design and I believe the same color scheme going on that used to be made for Glock. And I don't think you can get them anymore, but I could be wrong. They might be available, but if you look it up to look at it, you'll find that out anyway. But anyway, that's what came to mind. So it's funny that that is the name of this guy. You have thumb disc opening with a button lock here. These are $68 on Blade HQ. You have an overall length of 8.07 inches, so just a little bit over 8, with a blade length just over 3.5 inches at 3.54. You have a stock thickness of 0.126, which doesn't sound right, but I almost don't believe it. And if my calipers are sitting right here, I'm actually going to measure it. Yeah, they are right here. Because I'm looking at this and I don't think that's correct. We'll go, no, we won't go in millimeters. We'll go in inches. We'll zero it out. No, see, this is 0.1. Does it thicken up, I guess? All right, so I guess this is its thickest part here. Hopefully you can see this, which is 0.12. At least that's as far as my calipers will read. They only have 2 decimal places. But this whole back is, I guess, swedged slightly inward, so it looks thinner. So you'll have to excuse me for doubting Blade HQ there. But you can see the thickness stays really, really consistent all the way to the top. No distal taper on this guy, but you do have a bit of a compound grind going on. 2 different grinds to get this real large belly on the tip. And then this portion here, before you get into that more sweeping belly there. Both grinds are flat grinds. So keep that in mind. You're not getting a crazy thin flat grind, but you are getting a very tall flat grind. And because of that, this comes down to a fairly thin edge. Hopefully I can show this to you. Looking down the edge here. These get pretty thin down here, and the tip is actually a bit thicker, so it's more substantial, which is nice if you need to do any kind of piercing or something like that, because you get a little bit more meat, especially right up here by the actual point itself. Very well supported by the combination of these 3 lines, as well as the thickness of this top flat grind there. The action on this guy, being a button lock, is pretty good. Lockup is nice and reliable. There's no play in any direction. I've had no issues with lock stick on this one. And the cool thing with this is that your thumb disc is acting as external stops as well. So it's just barely contacting that. Is it actually? Well, it's not contacting that. There's just a slight gap underneath it. And you can see that there's a stop pin in there as well. But functionally speaking, this thumb disc would act as an external stop as well, should that need ever arise. And then on the close, you have the button lock doing that job. You're not contacting that top stop pin at all, as you can see. So just a neat feature that you had to have some redundancy regarding that stop pin. This would do the job for you just fine. Ergonomically speaking, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I think that this is a little too fat of a handle. You can see how this blade sits in there, so I understand why they had to do it this way. Why it had to be as wide as it is. But you're pretty far away from the edge on the back here. I don't know if you can tell how far under the edge that blade is, but you're in no danger of cutting yourself here. It would have been nice just to shave like a millimeter off of this. It's just really wide down here, especially as you come into this really narrow finger choil. It's not super comfortable at all. You kind of have to hold it all the way down and leave this space above. But yeah, it's not really all that comfortable. It's a little more comfortable if your middle finger's there, but still not great for me anyway. Some people this might work out good, but it's just too much in this direction. Not very comfortable in a saber grip or a hammer grip for that matter. So not a huge fan of the ergos on this one. Just a little odd looking when it's open, in my opinion. Cutting performance wise, this was pretty good. As I mentioned, it's got that full flat grind. Well, not full flat grind, but a tall flat grind that comes with this slightly swedged back grind, as we established, which is nice to see. Helps keep things pretty slicey, and as I already mentioned, the tip is nicely supported and nice and strong thanks to that different grind angle up near the tip. So this one overall is it's an interesting design and an interesting knife. You can see the name Keanu there written on the blade. I'm not sure the exact reason for that. I assume that is the designer. I'm looking at the Blade HQ listing and it's not saying anything about it. So, wish I could give you more information there, but I got nothing for you. And if I didn't mention, the blade steel on this is 14C28N, so you're getting a budget steel here, but a good budget steel at a good budget price of $68. I personally am kind of just tired of button locks. This would have been nice as a liner lock or a frame lock. Probably would have kept the price down even more, because I assume this has a lot more cost in manufacturing than just bending a piece of steel that's the liner. But I could be wrong about that. Nevertheless, this is just, I'm tired of the button lock craze, and I'm ready for anything else. Slip joints, frame locks, whatever. I don't care. I just want to stop seeing these. I'm tired of them. And this is just another frame lock. Another button lock. There's not a whole lot different to say about it. It's, if you want to do this kind of a thing, you can do this kind of a thing. If you want to, flip it out and then flip it closed using the button lock, you can do that. Now, all the novelty for button locks is kind of worn off, in my opinion. And I know some companies have had issues with their button locks failing. This one's just fine, as far as I can tell. Couple spine wax there, no issues. Just something that I'm tired of seeing. And the knife itself is fine, but like I said, the ergos aren't my favorite, and button locks in general are not my favorite. The thumb discs are fine, and that's kind of where we are at on this. It's just fine. So this has been the Bestech Knives Glok. Let me know what you think down below. I think I've said about all I have to say about it, so I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this one. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts, and I hope you leave your thoughts down below. And with that, thank you again, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.